In the high-stakes arena of mixed martial arts, where every punch and every alliance can redefine a fighter's path, respect isn't just a nicety, it's the foundation of everything. Brendan Allen's bold declaration that he's not your friend to Reinier de Ridder isn't just trash talk. It's a window into a deeper story of loyalty, gym politics, and personal boundaries that could leave you questioning the unwritten rules of the UFC world. But here's where it gets controversial. Allen's refusal to train with de Ridder wasn't born from straightforward rivalry. It's rooted in a perceived slight that cut deeper than you might think. As their headlining clash approaches at UFC Vancouver on Saturday, de Ridder has shared his side, revealing that he reached out to Allen about sparring together shortly after joining Kill Cliff FC in Florida. The request was shot down, but Allen insists his issue wasn't with de Ridder personally. Instead, it boiled down to a basic principle of courtesy that the gym's coaches and trainers overlooked. To clarify for newcomers to MMA, fighters often rely on gym culture for training partners and support, and asking permission shows respect, especially when two pros might soon face off in the octagon. Allen opened up to MMA fighting, explaining how this worked for him with other middleweights. Honestly, I was consulted for every 185-pounder who wanted to train at our After their fight, when Imavov wanted to stay and train more, the gym again sought Allen's approval, and he gave it with appreciation for the respect shown. But with de Ridder, nothing like that happened, not a single question, Allen said, his frustration evident. I thought, all right, screw me? Well, screw you back, and I'm not directing that at him, but at whoever skipped the common decency. To make this clear for those new to the sport, in combat sports like MMA, gyms are tight-knit communities where egos run high, and overlooking a top fighter's feelings could disrupt the whole dynamic. Allen's anger targeted the team's decision-making, not de Ridder himself. Yet the lack of that simple ask left him feeling undervalued, especially since no one bothered to check before bringing in and adding fuel to the fire. Allen already had strong ties with several 185-pound UFC competitors, and didn't see the need to add de Ridder to his circle. I've got plenty of buddies in this weight class already, he stated bluntly. These are guys I won't challenge unless they call me out first. If they do, we're settling it in the cage. They know the deal from the start. For a title shot, though, I'd take on anyone on the planet. This brings us to the part most people miss, Allen's philosophy on relationships in MMA. He's not about building false friendships or offering help to potential opponents. I'm not your pal, and I don't want to be, he declared. I won't show you disrespect, but if you cross me, we'll have words. I won't assist you, and I sure as heck don't need your assistance. That's my mindset. Deep down, I knew we'd end up fighting eventually. I've been pushing for it since he hit the UFC, way before he even stepped foot in our gym. For beginners wondering about MMA etiquette, fighters often maintain a business-only approach with rivals to keep things competitive and avoid conflicts of interest. Allen also expressed dissatisfaction with how Kill Cliff FC managed the whole affair, admitting it left a bad taste that's hard to shake. Yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way, he admitted. But after being in this game long enough, you learn to expect that some folks will act in their own best interest. Most people prioritize what's good for them in the long run. It's just how the world works, part of the business side of things. I try to keep my focus there. And this is where controversy really heats up. Allen brushed off sympathy for de Ridder, who relocated his entire family to Florida for the opportunity. Some say he moved his whole family down here for this. Well, that's his choice, not mine, Allen said, perhaps insensitively in the eyes of some. Call it cold-hearted if you want, but I was a top guy at that gym, maybe even the top dog or close. Whatever. It was a strategic play for them, and that's fine. But respect is a two-way street. This stance might spark debate. Is Allen too rigid in his loyalty, or is he rightfully protecting his position? It's a question that highlights the cutthroat nature of professional sports, where personal sacrifices collide with professional ambitions. Their arrival strained Allen's bonds with some coaches and fighters at Kill Cliff, leading him to seek a new environment. While there's no outright animosity, Allen admitted before his victory over Marvin Vettori in July that he craved a fresh start. That came when he headed to Chicago to team up with former UFC champ Bilal Muhammad and his crew. Loyalty is a big theme for Allen, who describes himself as fiercely devoted to his close circle. "I'm the type who's all about loyalty, maybe even overly so," he shared. Take Aung Lan Sang. He faced de Ridder twice and came up short. Dealing with all those tough emotions. At the time, he was a solid friend, visiting my place at Tuco Tacos' house, having me over to his, knowing each other's families. So when de Ridder beat him, I vowed to make him pay if the chance arose. Same with Gerald Meerschaert, who I know well and who lost a tight fight to de Ridder. If I get the shot, I'm going to prove a point. Yet, when de Ridder joined Kill Cliff, Allen saw others cozying up to him, and that just wasn't his style. "I'm not phony," he emphasized. "Ask me something, and I'll give you the straight answer. Love it or hate it, that's your call. I asked for your opinion, and I reserve mine, even if others think it's off base." This honesty could be seen as refreshing or divisive, depending on your view. Does unwavering candor strengthen a fighter's brand? Or does it alienate potential allies? Shifting gears to the upcoming bout, Allen stepped in as the main eventer after Anthony "Fluffy" Hernandez withdrew due to an injury, and he's thrilled for the opportunity. He's been gunning for a match against de Ridder for ages, eager to validate his long-held belief. "De Ridder's not all that impressive," Allen asserted confidently. "You know how sometimes you see a fighter and think, wow, they've got that special spark? I don't see it in him at all." So there you have it, a tale of MMA politics, personal principles, and impending showdowns. But what do you think? Is Allen's rigid stance on loyalty admirable in a sport full of shifting alliances? Or does it come across as unnecessarily hostile? Do you side with him on the gym's oversight, or believe de Ridder deserved a fair shot without drama? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate the finer points of respect and rivalry in the UFC.